Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Felsbrunn. That is kind of the sentiment of this particular playthrough. We're going to be doing a series on Felsbrunn where we start from scratch, just like we did in our very first playthrough in Farm Sim 19. We were on Felsbrunn, and we did a start from scratch series. So we're going to come back to it. This is going to be our last series that we're going to be starting in FS19, and we're going to remind ourselves what it's like to play base game FS19. So we're going to play with no mods. The only mods we're going to use are DLC. They're not technically mods. There's one exception that we're going to make to the mods list, and I'm going to get to that here in a little bit. But we can activate the Alpine Farming Pack, the Anderson Group Equipment Pack, the Bergolt Pack, Kloss Platinum Expansion, the Grimy Pack or the Grimmy Pack, the Homer Terra Variant DLC because, well, it is listed on the DLC page, the John Deere Cotton Pack, the Cuverland Vicon Equipment Pack, no crosshair, which is the only exception because I can't stand that little relical dot in the middle of the screen, the Rotney Pack, and the Precision Farming DLC because it says DLC, and it is explicitly listed in the DLC page on the Farming Simulator website. And that is it. So those of you who may not be familiar with what start from scratch is, you basically start with $500,000, no land, no vehicles, and here we go. So if we take a look at our garage, you'll see we own nothing. We have $500,000. We take a look at our land owned. We own nothing. Let me go over here and just see what is our crop in this field. Joy to me, our crop is sugar beets. Well, I've decided that I'm going to buy this particular field and the starting farm. One, it's $182,000. It includes a field that I can expand and make better use of. It includes some building area that is flat. Shockingly, flat land is kind of rare on the base game maps in Farm Sim 19. Kind of confusing. I mean, the whole build your own farm idea, and we don't really have a whole lot of flat area. I know Field 10 has a bit some flat. There's some flat up here, but all of these plots are really expensive. There's a bit of flat over here by the port, but again, it's kind of expensive. There's a little plot of land over here, but really there's no good flat spot. You get just a little bit of field there. Same with this. It's a little bit of land, but again, look over here. That is not where you want to be trying to build. You're going to be spending a whole lot of money trying to terraform that. Over here, again, there's not a whole lot of area over there to really make use of. So we're just going to go ahead and buy the starting farm area, and that's what we're going to start with. So $182,000 later, we have $318,000 left in our bank account. Now, we're going to need a good tractor. We're going to need a tractor that's going to last us for a while. We're going to need a tractor that has capabilities of doing narrows. And I don't know if there are any tractors up here in this range that have the capability of doing narrows. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the medium tractors, and I'm going to go with Kloss Axion 870. That's going to give me nearly 300 horsepower. I'm going to get narrow tires because we are running with crop destruction. This is going to eat me up $230,000 of my $318,000 left, but it is critical that we start with a good tractor. Now, I'm sure there's going to be tons of comments. You should have went with this. Well, then you can pick that in your own playthrough, okay? If you want to do that, then go right ahead. This is what we're doing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pick this 900 kilogram weight from Kloss just to match brands, just for funsies. And we can add a 1,500 kilogram attachment to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll with that. So that's going to leave me with a whopping $85,000 when we are all said and done. But we are not done yet. Now we have to talk about game settings. You can set your clock speed to whatever you want. If you want to play long, this is the challenge, if you will. Time scale, whatever you want. Difficulty, hard, because that's the only way to play. Traffic, on. Dirt, normal. Automatic engine start, whatever you want. Stop and go braking, whatever you want. Fuel usage, default. All of the helper refills, off. Plant growth, normal. Plant withering, on. Crop destruction, on. Plowing, on. Lime usage, on. Weeds, on. Save interval, yes. That is the terms of play. Now we have $85,000 left. What are we going to get next? Well, experience tells me that fertilizing contracts are where the money is. So what do we do with that? Well, we get ourselves either a sprayer or a fertilize spreader. Sprayer has the advantage of doing liquid fertilizer and herbicide. The spreader has the advantage of doing solid fertilizer and lime. Now, I am of the belief that solid fertilizer is cheaper than liquid fertilizer, so that's what I'm going to go with. I would love to go with the Cooverland Exacta. It is just $24,500, holds 3,900 liters, and has variable speed working width, or variable width working width. But it doesn't do lime. The Breedall K105 does lime. We can configure it to do 18-meter working width. It's pretty expensive, $47,000, but it holds 9,000 liters of product, so it holds a lot more product. What shall we do? Well, we're going to go with the Breedall K105. That's what we're going to do. And just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and get narrow tires on it. That way that I don't have to worry about crop destruction. And we're going to buy it. Now we're down to $38,000. That's our starting fleet. Because we're going to go hog wild with fertilizing contracts once they show up. We're going to accept fertilizing contract there. And we're going to go ahead and buy fertilizer. Oh, I really wish you could buy more than one pallet at a time. Do want to check one thing. Our beets are still growing. So, since we are using a precision farming DLC, we will also need to make use of this. Now, we're just going to lease this for the moment, so that we can get our soil samples. We can apply fertilizer to our field. Because we're going to have to basically lease a trailer. We're going to have to lease a topper and harvester for those beets. Or we dig the beets up and put them in the ground. But I'm of the mindset to just go ahead and make use of that field. It's free. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So I would be interested to know, is anyone else willing to pick up this challenge? If you want to call it that. And that is to do Felsbrunn, start from scratch. The only mod you're allowed to use is the no crosshair mod. If you're on console and you don't have the no crosshair mod, well then you're allowed to use no mods. The only things you can activate are official giant DLCs, which are listed in the DLC page, which I will put in the description below. And I have every intention of basically carrying this series through into basically FS19's release, or FS22's release. So we're going to start here October 31st and basically work our way forward from there. This video is brought to you by Frank Muse. Thank you for being a farm baron. This obviously won't take long with such a small field. Had I placed my crop sensor a little better, we would only need 4 samples, but okay. Send them off. And by the time we get back to the shop, return this and pick up our spreader, we should, there you go, have our samples back. $15,700 is what we have left. For now, we're not going to waste our money on sheds or anything like that. We also do not have a sleep trigger, so we won't be able to sleep through the night until we can afford a farmhouse, which, if you remember, it's $180,000. So we might not be sleeping through the night for quite a long time. And it's time to do some contracts. First up, let's take care of our own field, which won't take too terrible long. As far as gameplay goes, you can take out a loan all you want. If you want to max out your loan, go right ahead. Now, for those players that really need GPS, well, you're going to have to concentrate on the coordinates down on the mini-map. That way you know you are basically going, you know, either due north, due south, due east, or due west. So we want to hit 180 miles, 180 degrees. There we go. And there we are. Our field is well, fertilized, ready to rock and roll. Field 26 is our contract field we have for fertilizing. Might as well get that rocking and rolling. There aren't really a lot of contracts on the board, so it's going to be probably a process of working the contracts we can work, fast forward time a little bit, hope some contracts come up on the board, and that's going to be the first few days of our gameplay here. I'd be interested to know, what was your first series or first play on FS19? Did you pick Ravenport? Did you pick Felsbrunn? Did you go with New Farmer, Farm Manager, or start from scratch? Let me know down in the comments how your first initial play went on FS19. Now, some might ask, why are you doing this? Why don't you play with seasons? Because we're going to have seasonal cycles in 22. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Well, here's the gist. The way I see it, I want to refresh myself on what FS19 is. No mods. I want to know, how was the game delivered to me as a player to play back then, and basically now with respect to DLC. What is the game like as delivered from Giants? And then I'm going to take that information and I'm going to be able to speak in an educated fashion with how FS22 differs from that when it releases in November. When FS19 came out, I had not done that, so I really had kind of forgotten what base game FS17 was like. And I really got myself a little bit confused early on talking about FS17 and FS19. And I don't want that to happen. I want to be clear in my mind exactly how FS19 was, and how FS22 is currently, and move forward from there. So we've got two contracts. Potatoes contract. Well, I have to tell you, I pretty much have sworn off potato contracts. It's field 29. It's this little piddly field here. It's only going to pay you $2,500. Yeah, not worth it. Now, this one, we are going to borrow the items. Oh, John Deere. The things I go through for you people. Oh my, no, we're not. No. I'm not going to lower myself to use John Deere tractor when I have a perfectly capable Kloss tractor. I got to draw the line somewhere. Where are we going with this? Field 21. Oh, we don't need that silly trailer. So that is my goal. I want to be in a position 3 months from now to talk in an educated fashion about the differences between FS19 and FS22 as delivered from Giants, without muddying my mind with mod add-ons. So some are going to ask, can I hire help? Yes, you can. You can hire help. There's nothing keeping you from hiring help. You can hire as many helpers as you want, since you can only take out one contract at a time. It's not really going to matter that much, but okay. So I think that's where we're going to leave it for this initial episode of what we're going to call Felsbrunn Revisited. Start from scratch, 0 mods. We're going to shoot for a Tuesday, Thursday release schedule of this series. Now, as you're probably going to expect, there's going to be a fair amount of off-camera gameplay to kind of move things along and progress, but we will, of course, bring you back and talk about the major highlights of what's going on. But for the early start, we're basically going to be cycling contracts, earning more money, because, well, we're going to need to expand our land holdings at some point, because this little field over here is definitely not going to cut it. And we're going to have to obviously add to our farm equipment because, well, this tractor and fertilizer spreader are definitely also not going to cut it in the long term. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of this idea of this no mod, start from scratch playthrough? Are you willing to pick up the challenge and take it on yourself? I want to thank all of the farm hands, farm bosses, and farm barons that are a member of the channel. Through your channel membership, you make all these wonderful things possible. If you are not aware, we're giving away 3 additional copies of Farming Simulator 22 on the 22nd of every month. So the next giveaway will be on September 22nd. Just last week, we gave a copy away on August 22nd. And we're going to carry that in September, October, and on release day, November 22nd. You can find out details about how to enter that in the description below. And until next time, happy farming.